Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant General Mosikili, you've admitted that the email that we were discussing earlier originated from home13404@gmail.com. Now, given that the source was never traced or authenticated, how did you or anyone in your office verify the authenticity of what was presented as a ministerial directive?
Whether the email is correct or not.
Where it was from?
It
could have
no,
been
the email with the directive came from the Chief of Staff, not from email home 13404.
Okay.
The email 13 home at 1304 dot,
yes.
I think it's here. It's one of the recipients of the email that was coming from the official email, SAPS email of the Chief of Staff.
So we don't know who that belongs to. It could be a hacker, it could be anybody. And no one has ever traced where that email went to, came from, who it's linked to.
I think I did indicated that with my engagement with the Chief of Staff, he did indicated that it is in the office of the ministry. And it was confirmed in this meeting that it belongs to the minister himself.
Person.
Yes, to the minister himself. I think confirmation is that Mr. Nkabinde said it's the minister's email.
Okay.
Private email, yes.
Yes, private one.
Yes.
In your capacity as chair of NetJoints and given its mandate to coordinate national security, did NetJoints receive any formal intelligence or informal warnings prior to the 6th of July 25 regarding the existence of a sophisticated criminal network allegedly infiltrating the SAPS, the NPA, and the State Security Agency?
No, it was never received by NetJoints.
If no such intelligence was received, how do you explain what appears to be basically a complete intelligence failure at the highest level of national security coordination?
It may not amount to intelligence failure. And I will qualify because General Kumalo is part and parcel of the NICOC, and he has this information. It might have been discussed in the NICOC. NICOC is National Intelligence Coordination Committee of the infiltration within the ranks. But I think the infiltration needs to be qualified as well. That what I referred to earlier is the cartel, not necessarily on any other matter of infiltration or the involvement of collusion. I think even myself in some of the presentations that I would have made before the Portfolio Committee of Police, we did consider that there is a problem of collusion, there is a problem of corruption. It is living with us. I cannot sit here and deny it, knowing that it's happening. The only issue that I cannot confirm is on the drug cartel.
You see, Lieutenant General Mkunazi described what he termed a functioning criminal network embedded within the state. Now, did NetJoints ever discuss the rather extraordinary fact that he felt compelled to go public, flanked, of course, by armed special task force members, because he apparently had no confidence in the internal security channels under your coordination?
He never raised it with the NetJoints per se, and prior to the July 6th, there has been a number of operations and task teams that were formed, including those that will be coming from the intelligence community itself and presenting to the NetJoints and the structures on matters to be attended to. And I think the issues of criminal networks, in simplest terms, where you will have a form of collusion, it is a value chain in the criminal network where you will need to have somebody at the NPA to know that your matter will go, and you will have somebody from the police that you know if the investigation is done and it's presented to NPA to prison. That is the network that I think General Mkonazi is referring to. Hence, I am confirming the issues of collusion, that when you have the chain, in the chain of a criminal justice, you will get away with some of the things. And I will sit here and confirm that that has been detected and that is happening. That is why I will talk on number of officials, both from Home Affairs, that in the cluster itself, that were found to be on the other side of the law, members of the South African Police Service that were found to be on the other side of the law, and they are all have been investigated and sent to prison. The NPA, I think you know that there are senior, very senior, some acting NDPPs, DPPs that were found on the other side of the law, and they were dealt with accordingly. So actions were taken.
So they were dealt with prior to him making his...
Prior to him making his.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the president described the allegations as a matter of grave national security concern. Was NetJoints consulted before he placed the then Minister of Police on leave?
Before placing the Minister of Police?
Yes. Did he come to NetJoints? Did he consult with you at all before placing the then minister on leave?
No, I don't think no, it's not the matter of NetJoints to place
And what about the suspension of Deputy National Commissioner Sabia? Did he mention this to you?
No, it's part of the administrative justice. It's not part of NetJoints. It's actually the operational arm of the cluster to investigate, to undertake all the operations.
So his appointments had nothing to do, they had no reason to be brought to you?
To NetJoints, no.
Okay.
No.
Now, the General Mkonazi presented WhatsApp communications and financial records allegedly linking associates of the minister to criminal suspects and suggesting advance notice of police operations. Have you conducted, as NetJoints, conducted your own internal audit to determine whether other sensitive operations were perhaps similarly compromised?
I think in this case, when such is detected, it will then be referred to a relevant investigative body to continue with the investigation. It is now beyond the NetJoints itself.
Now, the task team investigation linked, sorry, could I ask you to lean back, Albert? Sorry. Thank you so much. The task team investigation linked weapons ballistically to at least 10 high-profile murders, including the assassination of DJ Somebody. Now, given that NetJoints is meant to oversee intelligence fusion across provinces, why was this apparent modus operandi of a single hit squad operating across provincial lines not identified and disrupted at an earlier stage?
It is the investigation that is already on the investigative arm of the cluster itself. So there is no need for a proper further coordination of the NetJoints bodies to do, because it is already on the task team that is multidisciplinary in nature that is doing that investigation. So there is a distinction between the matters that will come to the NetJoints and from the NetJoints to be operationalized. Sensitive matters of this nature, you will not want to see that bigger team of the NetJoints to be dealing with the matter that needs to be dealt with by the investigative capacity. So in this case, it was detected by the already established PKTT, and they will undertake that operational requirements that it's sitting with information at hand. So it will not require to go back to NetJoints, because if that happens, there is a possible leak and infiltration of that particular information.
Did NetJoints interrogate the rationale behind the disbandment of what many have described as a highly successful task team?
No.
No. So you just accepted the developments without actually scrutinizing what was going on?
Because there's already a project in place, and the project is reporting to the higher body from the NetJoints.
Okay. The President's now established a 147.9 million rand Judicial Commission of Inquiry into matters that a single provincial commissioner exposed in a 1-hour press briefing. Now, given NetJoints' mandate to ensure coordination and prevent exactly this type of systemic failure, do you accept it's possible that NetJoints actually has failed in its duty, looking at what the Lieutenant General Mkonazi has stated?
I don't believe NetJoints has failed.
So what personal accountability do you take for not bringing the crisis to the fore through formal national security channels before it actually reached the stage where he felt he should stand up and speak as he did?
Maybe I should qualify that by making an example. NetJoints have now developed the organized crime strategy or plan. From the strategist plan, now it's going to be operationalized. There is no need for the investigative team or that task team to come to the broader meeting of NetJoints to come and present, but rather to report to the structure. With the development of every plan, there will be a governance structure that is developed within the plan itself that will determine where the reporting lines should be. In this case of the example that I'm making, after the team, we call it the National Organized Crime Combat Group, their reporting line will be to the NetJoints chairpersons, not the broader NetJoints meeting, and will report to the JCPS ministerial team and to the National Security Council. So it's not all matters depending on the weight or the gravity of the matter that will go back to the lower structures. It will then be reported to the higher authority as approved.
Was this formulated before his press conference or after his press conference?
No, it's a recent, the example that I'm making is the recent.
We can say as a result of, perhaps.
Part of, yes.
Partly.
Yes.
Okay. We understand the PKTT was funded via national allocations, but there have been many claims from KwaZulu-Natal, from whence I come, that stations are experiencing severe resource shortages, of officers having to pay for detainees' food, tires and vehicle repairs paid for out their own pockets because funds, they claim, were reallocated to the PKTT. Now, from your position, is there any evidence that such funding decisions were being taken?
No,
No.
It's not correct.
Okay.
And I think General Dimpani, my apologies for interjecting, General Dimpani did indicated how funds are allocated and how accountability goes into the funds that are allocated to the provinces, to the stations, and to the task teams. There is a task team separate budget, and this is where the budget of the PKTT and other task teams, national task teams are coming. And that is in my office to manage all the task teams that we are undertaking in the country.
So that's completely false.
It's not correct.
Yes. So I ran through some of the witness statements that have been made over the months and months we've sat in this room. One witness testified she acted after receiving reports of physical and emotional abuse by members of the PKTT, tubing, unlawful searches, fabrication of evidence, delayed court processes, and pressure on officers to fabricate statements. Have you heard any such complaints?
I heard it for the first time when it was presented in here.
Yeah.
And maybe it did not come to me because of the proximity to the team itself, but it might have gone to other leadership that is very close to the way the claims were made.
Okay.
In this case, the immediate commander of where the PKTT is, which is the project leader, or the commander of that particular team.
And you've not heard of any reports of systemic abuse within the PKTT? Or any evidence that they shielded certain political actors rather than prosecuting them?
Not to me directly, no.
Right. Concerns were also raised about mandate creep, I think is a good phrase, particularly the definition of political killings was unclear, and that the PKTT took on dockets with no political motive, and sometimes outside of the province they were assigned to. What's your information there?
That is not correct as well.
Okay.
Any other matter that the team will undertake, it's because of the directive that they will have given. And if my recollection is correct, when the matter was raised, it's because of the investigation that they would have undertook on the Fort Hare matter. They were requested to assist the Eastern Cape team, and I was sitting in that meeting, myself chairing, General Sibia, General Kumalo, General Mene, who was then the provincial commissioner of Eastern Cape, with the national commissioner in Eastern Cape, when the decision was taken that this matter, it's sensitive, is taken long because of the capacity, that capacity in terms of the manner of the approach of the PKTT. Can they assist in the Fort Hare matter?
Okay.
And I think with the Namsha matter as well, which is in the Eastern Cape, they were also requested to intervene and assist the team in that regard.
Okay, just finally, your comments on 4 reasons that the minister, the then minister, gave for the closure of the PKTT. Please just comment. I mean, he claimed duplication of work, that it duplicated the functions of already existing units, such as murder and robbery and serious and violent crime units. Was there a measurable duplication? Was the PKTT addressing a distinct intelligence-driven gap?
Minister would not have requested the intervention in the Eastern Cape taxi violence if PKTT had that challenge, because it is the similar approach that I sent the team to Eastern Cape to intervene on the taxi killing. It is the similar approach of the team that was sent to Western Cape, Lockdown 3, to intervene. So they are similar task teams, and this happened after the PKTT story, or the PKTT came into play, or his assessment of the budget and budgetary constraints that the department was experiencing on the PKTT.
Okay, he also stated that the PKTT, quote, no longer required nor added value as a standalone structure. So what metrics was that conclusion based on? Do you know?
The fact that there was a further request to submit a close-up report, only if that report was presented at the time. If one will be rational, then it will only then be with what you are presenting with this close-up report. Then this is what I am deducting from this. So therefore, it is no longer relevant. So you can't prematurely say it is not relevant when the report has not yet been submitted. I believe.
The final 2 would be unsustainability and national scope of crime. It was argued that the PKTT was an unfunded temporary structure and that its functions should be embedded within the SAPS for institutional accountability. Now, if institutionalization was the goal, why was this team dissolved rather than restructured and formalized?
I think there were attempts to have a team. In my personal view, we will end up having task teams or units for everything if we are to take every challenge or commodity criminal-wise and establish a unit. Hence, the position to have task team to dismantle the challenge, and when it's dismantled, will allow the normalized situation to be undertaken by the business unit concerned.
Okay. Finally, the former minister argued that political killings occur nationally, which they do, not only in KwaZulu-Natal, and that a regionally focused task team was insufficient. Now, if that was the concern, why was the solution closure rather than national expansion?
It will be extended or national expansion if the threat has not yet been neutralized. I will make an example that I made earlier, that we experienced the same in Limpopo, in Jerusalem. The team was sent, the threat was neutralized, the main suspects were arrested, some were sentenced, some were eliminated, and the team, the lifespan was ended. So there was a call again that the similar approach that we have of the PKTT be extended to Gauteng because the similar challenges were experienced.
So you're saying once the political killings have dropped,
Subsided, maybe,
subsided massively in KZN, they should just disband the PKTT. That should have been the decision.
and put the alternative in place,
Yes, of
because you can't disband without putting an alternative. The experience, the history has taught me that if you just disband without having neutralized the situation, the recurrence, it's likely to happen.
Yes.
That is why from time to time, we must intervene in the Western Cape, in the Cape Flats, because
Absolutely.
the threat has not subsided.
No, you need that unit here, frankly. Ma'am, I thank you, Chairperson. I'm done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lieutenant General.
Thank you.